The Big Bang is a physical theory that describes how the universe expanded from an initial state of high density and temperature. Various cosmological models based on the Big Bang concept explain a broad range of phenomena, including the abundance of light elements, the cosmic microwave background radiation, the redshift of galaxies, and the large-scale structure of the universe. The observed uniformity of the universe, which leads to the horizon and flatness problems, is explained through cosmic inflation, a phase of accelerated expansion during the earliest stages. Detailed measurements of the expansion rate of the universe place the initial singularity at an estimated 13 billion years ago, which is considered the age of the universe. A wide range of empirical evidence strongly favors the Big Bang event, which is now widely accepted. Extrapolating this cosmic expansion backward in time using the known laws of physics, the models describe an extraordinarily hot and dense primordial universe. Physics lacks a widely accepted theory that can model the earliest conditions of the Big Bang. As the universe expanded, it cooled sufficiently to allow the formation of subatomic particles and later atoms. These primordial elements, mostly hydrogen and some helium and lithium, then coalesced under the force of gravity aided by dark matter, forming early stars and galaxies. Measurements of the redshifts of supernovae indicate that the expansion of the universe is accelerating, an observation attributed to a concept called dark energy. The concept of an expanding universe was introduced by the physicist Alexander Friedmann in 1922 with the mathematical derivation of the Friedmann equations. The earliest empirical observations of an expanding universe is known as Hubble's law, published in work by physicist Edwin Hubble in 1929, which discerned that galaxies are moving away from Earth at a rate that accelerates proportionally with distance. Independent of Friedmann's work and independent of Hubble's observations, in 1931, physicist George Lemaitre proposed that the universe emerged from a primeval atom, introducing the modern notion of the Big Bang. In 1964, the CMB was discovered. Over the next few years, measurements showed that the radiation to be uniform over directions in the sky and the shape of the energy versus intensive curve. Both consisted with the Big Bang models of high temperatures and densities in the distant past. By the late 1960s, most cosmologists were convinced that the competing steady state model of cosmic evolution was incorrect. There remain aspects of the observed universe that are not yet adequately explained by the Big Bang models. These include the unequal abundance of matter and antimatter known as baryon asymmetry, the detailed nature of dark matter surrounding galaxies, and the origin of dark energy. Evolution is the change in the heritable characteristics of biological populations over successive generations. It occurs when evolutionary processes such as genetic drift and natural selection act on genetic variation, resulting in certain characteristics becoming more or less common within population over succeeding generations. The process of evolution has given rise to biodiversity at every level of biological organization. The scientific theory of evolution by natural selection was conceived independently by two British naturalists, Charles Darwin and Alfred Russel Wallace, in the mid-19th century as an explanation for why organisms are adapted to their physical and biological environments. The theory was first set out in detail in Darwin's book On the Origin of Species. Evolution by natural selection is established by observable facts about living organisms. 1. More offsprings are often produced than can possibly survive. 2. Traits vary among individuals with respect to their morphology, physiology, and behavior. 3. Different traits confer different rates of survival and reproduction, differential fitness. And 4, traits can be passed from generation to generation, heritability of fitness. In successive generations, members of a population are therefore more likely to be replaced by the offspring of parents with favorable characteristics for that environment. In the early 20th century, competing ideas of evolution were refuted, and evolution was combined with Mendelian inheritance and population genetics to give rise to modern evolutionary theory. In this synthesis, the basis for heredity is in DNA molecules that pass information from generation to generation. The processes that change DNA in a population include natural selection, genetic drift, mutation, and gene flow. All life on Earth, including humanity, shares a last universal common ancestor, which lived approximately 3.5 to 3.8 billion years ago. The fossil record includes a progression from early biogenic graphite to microbial mat fossils to fossilized multicellular organisms. Existing patterns of biodiversity have been shaped by repeated formations of new species, speciation, changes within species, anagenesis, and loss of species extinction. Throughout the evolutionary history of life on Earth, morphological and biochemical traits tend to be more similar among species that share a more recent common ancestor, which historically was used to reconstruct phylogenetic trees. Although direct comparison of genetic sequences is a more common method today, evolutionary biologists have continued to study various aspects of evolution by forming and testing hypotheses, as well as constructing theories based on evidence from the field of laboratory and on data generated by the methods of mathematical and theoretical biology. Their discoveries have influenced not just the development of biology, but also other fields, including agriculture, medicine, and computer science.